Today, I've got a new topic that we have never discussed, which is virtual assistants. Now, a lot of people think that VAs are going away because of AI, but that could not be further from the truth. And today, I've got actually one of my one on one clients who owns a VA business that has hundreds of VAs and clients and everyone that they manage and help. And we're going to talk about how VAs and AI are actually merging together to grow businesses at a much, much cheaper rate than it otherwise would have been. I've got Kristen Stampini. What's up?
Hey, how are ya?
It's
Thanks for
good to
having
see
me.
you. Yeah. So we're here today at the last WealthCon,
Yeah,
which is
I
exciting.
know. I've been to every single WealthCon.
I know
Am I the only one that's ever been
you definitely have the most WealthCons under your besides myself.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because you joined back in 2020,
Yeah,
and so you've been to. I mean, we did it almost every quarter.
yeah.
So I mean, that's got to be over 20 WealthCons.
Yeah, we never missed a WealthCon.
Yeah. And you guys came from Florida. It's not like you're just here in Vegas and it
That's
was
right.
easy. So I appreciate you for that. And I'm glad that we finally get to have you on. But before we jump into the VA business, because that's your guys' main thing now. I mean, you guys started in the real estate side,
Yeah.
but even then, like you shouldn't even have been able to get to where you're at today.
Yeah, thanks. So my husband and I weren't together when this all first started. It was just me, and I had moved to, Florida and quit managing restaurants. So I'd managed restaurants for about 18 years all over the country. Restaurants like Cheesecake Factories, California Pizza Kitchens, a whole bunch of different corporations.
Yep.
So I moved to Florida because the only person I knew was my mom
Yep.
was living in Florida. I ended up going through a really rough time in my life, lost everything. So just approaching the age of 40, I went bankrupt, car repoed, I mean, the whole thing. And I was single. And so I literally had to start over.
Yeah.
Got into real estate. So my mom's like, you should get your real estate license. I said, the last thing I want to do is sales. I don't know what to do. So I started waiting tables at Houston's restaurant down in South Florida. And I did take, the real estate courses to get my real estate license, but I never took the exam until the month before it expired. So you could take it for a year.
Yeah.
That's how bad I didn't want to do it. And I did. And so the first thing I did is I got in there, I got into real estate and I said, okay, now what? Because most people have, know people where they're at. They can get referrals or their sphere or something like that,
Right.
which I had none of that.
Right.
And then I was making a minimal amount of money at the restaurant waiting tables. And so to be able to support my life and to be able to get into real estate, I was having to juggle both jobs for about 3 years. I was working about 85 hours a week.
Wow.
And I was taking all the money I was making from the restaurant to pay, my rent and my bills and things. And then I hired a coach.
Yeah.
I just knew that a coach was the only way to go to learn the marketing. Who is still a coach of ours today? So this is this
Yeah.
many years later. And once I hired a coach and I really learned the marketing aspect is when the business started to take off.
Yeah. So you started out as a realtor
Mhm.
and grew that pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you start to do other things?
So once I was a realtor myself, I built a team. I became a real estate coach, and that all happened until about 2000, let's say 12, 13. And then I wasn't selling real estate anymore after a while. I had my team that was selling real estate, and then I started investing. So the money I was making, because I could never borrow any money from anybody, I had gone bankrupt. So I had to literally make the money, and it was
Yeah.
all grunt work of making the money to start investing in properties and start investing in buying different investment properties. And
Yeah.
that's where that started. And then I would buy one and sell it, or I'd buy one and hold it, and I just kept investing money I was making to expand our now my husband and myself's net worth.
Yeah. And you guys have properties in like Greece now,
Mhm.
and like you guys live there like part time now.
Yeah. So we're finishing our property in Greece. It's been being built for about the last 2.5 years,
Yeah.
and we're going to be living there 4 months a year.
Yeah. That's
S-
awesome.
Yeah.
Not many people can say they live in Greece and run a business here in the States and
I've
manage remote, virtual assistants in the Philippines. Like it's really is global.
And the great thing is we also live on an island in Florida, so we live in the Keys, the
Yep.
Florida Keys, so we live on an island in Greece and an island in Florida, and we're able to, live,
Yeah.
how we want.
Yeah. So, you're doing all the real estate stuff, you're learning, you're coaching and everything
Mhm.
else. And I remember you came to me in 2020 and you're like, "Hey, I don't even really know what you were trying to get because at that time I was really just teaching house flipping and I
Yeah.
don't know that you guys were necessarily wanting to flip more houses, but where were you guys at that stage?"
So you were actually our second coach that we ever hired at the time, and, my friend who I used to coach, Steve Trang,
Yep.
so I coached
Great
him
guy.
for a long time, and I saw you were had a I don't know if it was a Black Friday sale or
Yeah.
something on your social media course,
Yeah.
and we were just really learning social media at the
Yeah.
time, and I said, "Steve," and he's the one who promoted it actually,
Okay.
on his Facebook page, and I said, "What do you think of this guy?" I mean, I went and I looked at you, and I'm like, "This guy
Yeah.
seems like the real deal," and Steve goes, "Yes, he's great, Kristen," and so I took that course, and at the end,
Yeah.
I thought, "Wow, this guy's good." And at the end of the course, it was talking about other things that you had, and it was talking about your coaching that you
Yeah.
were just starting.
Yep.
And, so we signed up for that pretty quick. I
Yeah.
mean, got on the phone, signed up for it, and I knew my thing was, how can I legally bring our taxes down,
Right.
in investing? Because now we've got
You were just
multiple
used to being a realtor at that time.
and had some investment properties, but not really, our income kept going up every year, our net worth kept going up every year, and then we were trying to figure out how we could, not pay as many taxes
Yeah.
and how that and so we came to you
Yeah.
for that reason. The first call we had with you, you're like, "Oh, you have some money. I don't think that you wanna flip or wholesale." I remember you saying that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Wow, I love that you were so direct," and you're like,
Yeah.
"But there's so many other areas that we can help you with," which you have.
Yeah. And it's funny because at that time, and it leads into why this is even the last WealthCon that we're on this topic because I've always enjoyed just all aspects of business. And really, like the way I see it now, having been in it so long, I'm like, look, if you don't have a business, you're not making
Mhm.
money. I love flipping and wholesaling.
Yeah,
I think it's a great business to get started. But whenever somebody like you comes to me and they're like, hey, I got this very successful thing I'm already doing. In your case, it was, you had a brokerage and
yeah.
VAs and all this stuff. I'm like, I don't think you need to add this to your plate. Like, I just think you're already doing great. If you just double down on those things, plus add a couple of extra other
Yeah,
things, that's the best path.
yeah,
And yeah, that's why I'm excited too for what's to come because now it's like we'll always teach flipping and wholesaling.
yeah,
So we've got that. But now I really want to help business owners with
yeah.
different things. Yeah.
So we've been I mean, and just watching and being involved with so many different things that you've done
Yeah.
has taken our net worth literally when we started back in 2020, we were at about 2,000,000,
Yeah.
and today
It's a lot better.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot better.
Yeah.
But the thing is that from meeting you, so it's always about the mentorship and the coaching, and you're like, "No, you don't wanna do that, but I can help you with so many areas," and that's how I met Gary,
Oh yeah.
who we're still a
Yep.
part of today because he's helped us really grow
Yep.
our, systems and processes and everything, which was a game changer in our business.
Yep.
So when we go to wanna sell it or anything else that's huge,
Yep.
we met, uh, Ryan also that
Yep.
helped us in our
Again.
social
Yeah.
media, Ryan McGinn,
Cody.
um, which we're still a part of Ryan,
Yep.
Cody, which we're still a part of Cody Sanchez,
Yep.
and we're in her mastermind and everything, and so it's just been multiple people that
Yeah.
have come out of it.
And I think too, what you did really good, obviously, like we still do ton of stuff together, even 5, 6 years later, which is awesome. Is that you guys come into these things giving so much value too. I mean, yeah, you're coming in to learn and receive and do stuff, but you're also giving everyone else so much value. So I know that you guys have gotten a ton of business from just being a part of the. Like it's actually like a good marketing
It is.
thing for you, and that's something I want to bring up to a lot of people listening to this and this isn't a pitch for my masterminds or
Yeah.
anything, but it's like some people have a marketing budget that's not even paid ads or social media. They're like, I join $100,000 worth of stuff every year to be around high level people who I know will I'll learn a ton from, but who will also need our services.
That's right,
And in your case, it would be virtual assistants.
right. And the other thing is like we met people because we do quite a bit of private money now.
Yeah.
Thank you because of you. I don't know if we would ever really gone down that path. So even though we aren't doing the investment and other things, I mean the
Yeah.
flipping and wholesaling, we bought Airbnbs. I don't know if we would have done that.
Yeah.
We do still a lot of long-term and short-term
Yeah.
and gotten into some syndications and
Yep.
things, but as well as private money. So
Yeah.
we now have loaned out quite a bit of private money to, to people in your, being connected with you.
Yeah, for sure. So let's talk about the VAs. A lot of people have heard about virtual assistants, and I remember I first heard about virtual assistants when Tim Ferriss wrote The 4 Hour Work
Yeah.
Week. And I don't know when he wrote that book. It had to have been 15,
Yeah.
20 years ago. And I remember him talking about it, and even him talking about living in other countries at that time because, Greece, where you guys are at, is significantly cheaper,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I remember him just talking about like, "Dude, you could live like a king in certain places for like 2 grand a month."
Yeah. It's true.
You can get labor in other places for extremely cheap, and, I was like at that time, I didn't have a business, I was just playing baseball, so I was like, "Yeah, I mean, that's cool, whatever." And then maybe like 10 years later, I'm now running businesses, and then I started using virtual assistants in 2018 for the very first time, and, we were using them to cold call and all this stuff, and I mean, we made millions of dollars from it,
Yeah.
And I was spending, 10 grand a month just on like all these VAs.
Mhm.
And, you know, people have used them for other things. And we still use VAs to this day for different things. You
Yeah.
started using them for admin tasks, and then social media got big and people started using them for editing
Yeah.
and video. And people use them as executive assistants now. And now people use them to do, chat GBT prompts and
Yeah.
scripts and things like that. And it's been great for all these years, but then now we have AI,
Yeah.
and people are like, "Hey, um, why would I need a VA now? Because AI is the thing that's going to just do it all for me. It's going to take all the tasks that VAs used to do, and now it can just be done automatically with AI." So, what have you seen? How did you first off? How did you even get into the business?
Yeah.
How did it grow to what it is today? And then, like, where's it evolving?
That's a great question. So when I was a realtor and I didn't have any money because I kept all the money at first that I was making, I was putting back into my business and I needed assistance. And so back in like 2011, I had gone to a conference and met a company there that had a virtual assistant company. And I thought, wow, this is pretty cool. And this is very affordable. It's not, because I didn't have the money to invest in people in the business as it was evolving as fast as it was, as my real estate business. So I started hiring virtual assistants. From that company, I hired 11 virtual
What year was
assistants.
this?
That was about 2011 to 13
This
ish.
was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was good at it. I was good at figuring out how to manage them and how to train them and how to, because I don't think a lot of people understand that it from the Philippines is our virtual assistants. They start English in the first grade. Like all of our virtual assistants are college educated.
Yeah.
They actually want to work. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they're loyal, they appreciate you. And so once I started working with them and I from the company, I figured out using a company for us, um, the time that I was gonna save, right? Going out and hiring myself, and if they didn't work out, then having to go back and hiring again. So paying a little bit of extra money for through a company was great, but I had 11 of them. I had them doing inside sales, customer service, marketing assistance. I had them doing transaction coordination. I had them doing executive assistant, all kinds of different things. And I'm like, and I was coaching, at the time too. Um, so people kept saying, "Wow, you do so well at this. You should open your own company."
Yeah.
And so that's in 2017 is when we opened our virtual assistant company and kind of took everything that I, learned along the way and figured out what kind of services we wanted to offer, what kind of our niche was going to be. At first, we worked with a lot of realtors, because that was just what we knew. But over the years now, especially this year, we have grown into all kinds of different businesses. So we don't just work with realtors, we work with every business that now, because most businesses know about virtual assistants today,
Yeah, yeah,
and a lot of them actually understand how important it is for them to have a virtual assistant, but they don't know exactly how to utilize them, what they can do with them.
yeah,
And now that AI is involved, holy cow. Business owners, a lot of them, they don't have time to learn the AI.
yeah,
So we do that for them.
yeah.
When we were at your event just recently and Dan Martell was there,
Yep.
he was awesome, right? Because he's working with, how many? 1,000 different
He's done
AI
a lot.
companies.
He's doing a lot of AI stuff every
And
day.
so Mark and I were asking him, what do you think is going to happen with the virtual assistants? And he goes, they just need to be really good and they need to be AI because you can't just have virtual assistant or I'm sorry, AI running your business. You have to have somebody that's actually prompting, AI,
Yeah,
that's managing it, but they can just do so much more now.
yeah,
So one virtual assistant that could used to only do one job can now do 5 or 6 or 7, a lot
right.
more. And the thing is that business it's changing so fast every day. So many new things are coming into the AI world. And how can business owners learn all that? They don't need to. They
Yeah,
just need to know they need to have a company or, somebody who's actually working with their assistants that's learning the AI to integrate into their business and implement it and making sure that's evolving quickly. And that's what we do.
yeah. So what Martell said at the event when we were doing it, he came and we were what were you doing? We were throwing
Throwing
axes.
axes. Yeah.
Yeah. And so we did this impromptu kind of little mastermind at axe throwing. But he talked about how basically everyone has to become like a great manager,
Yeah.
essentially, right? We got to go from doers to managers. And it's interesting because it's like, yeah, that is true. VAs used to do a lot of doer
Yeah.
type task, right? I mean, I call those kind of cast or task bean counting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they would go through the spreadsheets and do this. They would just make all the calls. They would just do this and that. But AI can basically do all those things now. But who's going to prompt AI to do it?
Yeah.
Who's going to double check AI's work?
That's right.
Who's going to just keep up with it on a daily basis?
Mhm.
Like AI can't just function by itself and do whatever it wants. Well, I guess maybe one day it will, but today it can't. And I don't know that you want it to just do whatever it wants. Somebody's got to check it
It's true.
for quality control.
So that's what if you have a company that is training your virtual assistants all the time. So for us, we're training them at least twice a month, all of the virtual assistants on all the up and some we're doing weekly, depending on what's going on in the AI. So we spend a month training our virtual assistants before they even ever go to a client. And what we offer executive assistants. So we're training them on exactly, how to run the businesses and through AI. Plus, we're continuing to update, their skills on AI every
Yeah.
single month. We have the customer service and we have marketing assistants. They all need to know how to use AI all the time. And the thing is whoever, if we weren't doing it, the business owner is gonna have to figure it out, right?
Or they're going to pay somebody,
A lot.
yeah, a lot of money to do it. When that's the thing I've been realizing too. It's like we're growing, but we have less staff. And I think a lot of that is AI, because staff I used to need for like very
Mhm.
manual things, you no longer need. But at the same time, it's like now somebody who does work for me right now has to do like 5 times more, for the same pay because that's just what it is.
Well, the other thing is they don't need to be as skilled as they used to.
Right.
AI so the biggest thing with AI is prompting it with detail, prompting it properly.
Right.
And if you're teaching how to prompt AI properly and how to put in, different prompts, the details of it, the VAs don't have to be necessarily or anybody have to be skilled at a specific task
Right.
because AI is going to do it for them.
Right.
They just have to make sure that they manage it properly. And once it goes into AI, then when it comes out, then they have to manage that part properly. You definitely need people that are doing the process, that are prompting, but AI can do so much now, you just need to know what you can utilize it. So we utilize it, for example, for sales teams,
Right.
right? We used to have a lot of inside sales agents,
Yep.
and we don't need that anymore. We actually the inside sales agents, we use a sales manager to, for example, all of our phone calls we put into AI. We get all the feedback. Then after the feedback, then when we have inquiry calls, for example, we put those into AI to see how, the feedback of how we could have been better. Then we prompt, we do emails and we put, depending on if, let's say it didn't turn into a client, we put that into AI. So it specifically tells us all the emails that we should be sending to pre-sell them. And then after all of our webinars, our paid webinars, we put into AI. So all we're doing is continuing to, this is the sales manager literally is AI.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing everything now. So how do you see it continuing to change? Like, I guess from your standpoint as a VA business owner, um, your whole goal now is to just essentially make them the managers that
Mhm.
business owners would have had to hire anyways, but they might have paid, an American significantly more.
So I think a lot of, the business owners, like I was just talking to somebody and he goes, the one thing that I just love about, and same with Cody Sanchez, she's the same way. The one thing I love about virtual assistants is, if they come trained
Yeah.
and they're just working with AI and the company that you hire is doing that all for you. So you're not having to learn all the updates, know all the updates, but they're um, managing it for you. I don't think that the virtual assistants are going to go away. They're
Right.
just gonna have to up the game. So those inside sales agents, guess what? They're gonna be gone.
Right.
We don't even offer inside sales anymore.
And how big of was that for what you used to do?
30%.
Yeah, like I for me anyways, when I was first hiring VAs, like the main thing was inside sales. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I just need people to cold call. I need people to set appointments. I need people to follow up, get more at bats for our closers.
And we do a lot of lead conversion. We work with Go High Level. We work with a lot of other CRMs and stuff. So just really teaching them how to utilize AI to help these companies grow.
Yeah.
And so now, one person can can be five people within their company. One virtual assistant can act,
You
let's
used to
say.
need to give them 5
That's
VAs,
right.
but now they need 1
That's
and
right.
they can do the same thing.
And you're looking at a cost of, $21,000 for a full-time assistant.
21K a year for a full-time VA versus,
College educated,
6
skilled,
yeah,
trained.
60 to 120K a year for whatever, right? So, I mean, let's talk about that, right? If somebody wants a VA, okay, what are the best practices? Because on one hand, they could go to somebody like you who's already going to train them, do it, and you'll replace them if it's not good,
Yeah,
whatever. Or they can go on Fiverr
yep.
and hire their own, and it'll be less. Like, what do you see as the rate differences, the pros and cons?
Well, you're gonna pay more, with a business, but they're going to train, they're going to replace. I mean, we look at thousands of resumes. And, they're gonna go look at 5,
Yeah,
maybe. And does the quality of people that we get are very high quality. We offer health insurance. You can't offer health insurance,
yeah,
and we pay for that. But the thing is that they're gonna have to train, hire, it's all time. So if they don't care about the time that it's gonna take them to do all of this,
yeah,
then, they can probably hire somebody for, 5, 6, $7 an hour.
yeah.
It's
And on average, what are your guys' hourly rates?
9 to 11.
So they can get them for 5 to 7 an hour or pay 9 to 11. But ideally, yours would be, more well trained, qualified, vetted, all those things.
And we're training them every month, and you
Right.
don't have to worry about that. So, how about all the new things that are coming out, especially through AI? How are they gonna learn it, right? You're
Yeah.
just gonna
Well, the business owner would have to figure out how to learn it and what they need to teach the VA on. Yeah.
what kind of time do you have for that?
Yeah. And that's the other part too. When you really think about it, it's like, what is the opportunity cost? Because if you're going to go hire somebody full time, that's what, 40 hours a week,
Yeah.
160 hours times 5 or 6, that's about $1,000 a month, right?
Yeah.
Give or take. So would you rather pay, you know, an extra 1,000? Like basically, is your time worth $1,000 a month for everything you got to do to train them up, find them, vet them, all that.
Yeah. And it's actually, it's about 70%, right? So they're gonna pay about 30 to 35% more
Yeah,
through a company,
got
pretty
it.
much. So I even when I didn't have any money, it made sense to me because I knew if I freed up my time, I was gonna be able to go out and sell more. I was gonna go and be able to work on my business, to grow my business. For the extra couple bucks, there
Yeah,
was no way, even back when I didn't have any money, there was no way I was gonna do it on my own because I knew my time was worth more.
right,
Because if you think about it, and it's a couple dollars an hour or whatever, right? Let's say 2 to $4 an hour more.
right,
What's your time worth?
right,
Is your time worth, 300 bucks? What could you be doing with that time?
right.
So to me, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the whole reason you hire anyone anyways,
Yeah.
right? I mean, when I hire a guy making 100 grand, like, yeah, sure, 100 grand's a lot of money, but my time is worth more than the 100 grand
Yeah,
if I had to go do all the tasks they had to do every day.
that's right.
And then on top of that, I would assume that if I'm going to hire somebody for 100 grand, they're going to make me more than 100 grand. And I mean, that's kind of the point with the VAs. I mean, you look at them the same way you'd look at any hire. They're
Yeah,
no different than hiring an American or whatever else. Like, hey, I want to pay this guy 100 grand or I want to pay this person 20 grand. What's the return
yeah.
on this person?
And when you really think about it too, is we invest a lot of money and time into mentorship and coaches.
Yeah,
What do you think that we do? We bring that back to our company.
right.
There's no way anybody else could do that. I mean, we have like 7 different mentors and coaches,
Yeah,
and we all the different things that we learn from all the conferences and all the people that we're with, we take all the things that we love that can help our company and we bring it back.
yeah.
There's how is anybody else gonna do that?
No. So think about this. What are the biggest things that I asked this before and you said 30% for it used to be ISA type
Yeah.
cold calling stuff. What are the majority of your clients using VAs for now?
That's very interesting. So it was a couple years ago, it was like a lot of marketing assistance, a lot of video editing, a lot.
Explain what a marketing assistant would
Yeah,
do.
so you still have to we're not a marketing company. Even
Right.
though we know a lot about marketing, we're not a marketing company. So a lot of people will come to us and say, "I want you to put together a marketing plan for me and what I need to do in my business." That's not what we do. What we do is we implement their marketing plan. So if it's for example, we work with a lot of marketers. They hire us to actually work with the virtual assistants to do all the work of the actual integration of the marketing through their company.
Yeah.
Okay,
Whatever
because
plan they've already set.
yeah. So they need to set the plan. At social media, big on social media, video editing, podcasts,
So they'll post on social media,
open accounts on social
open
media,
accounts, they'll edit.
communicate, edit.
Yeah, DMs.
Yep. Long form, short form video. They do all of those kind of things. They do all the omnipresence. So where you're seen everywhere, like you. I
Yeah.
mean, you're seen everywhere. That's what they do.
Yeah.
And they've edited, we edit thousands of videos a month,
Right.
for people. And it used to be a lot of that.
Okay.
That was about 40%.
Okay.
But now that's gone down, and people are now hiring more executive assistants, lead conversion specialists that can run like their go high levels and their campaigns and their emails and their newsletters. And
So what would an EA do with you? Because like when I think about my EA, Tiffany, she's here
yeah,
in the office. And so, we physically need her here to do different things. But she also does a lot of things that could be virtual,
yeah.
right? So like what do your EAs do?
Calendar management. They're on calls, they're on meetings, they're booking travel. They are doing all the correspondence. They're running their AI, all the AI. They can run their sales. They can run their marketing. They can put everything that has to do with AI can be done by their go high level.
Yeah.
All of that. You should see the the different
Yeah,
things,
landing pages.
everything.
Yeah.
Website. Before they used to have to be really skilled at that stuff.
Yeah.
Today,
Anyone can do it.
today, anyone can do it. So that is something that everybody can use. The way that I like to look at it is when you're thinking because for us, we own several businesses now, and for us, we do not have anybody in-house. Nobody.
Your whole team's virtual.
All of it's virtual. Now, if you need somebody to stuff envelopes or to, to do file like Tiffany,
Yeah.
she does a lot and she needs to be here.
Yeah.
But anybody else that if you think about all the tasks that they don't need to be here for,
Right.
if you're in real estate, I mean, obviously putting, lock boxes on and doing,
Somebody
physical things.
physically has to be there.
But most of the things can be done virtually.
Yeah, transaction coordination,
Everything, everything.
uploading the listing, the photos.
Pictures, videos, everything that they, need to edit and do it can all be done virtually. So,
Yeah, beyond the lockbox, there's not much.
there really isn't.
Right.
I mean, for realtors, I mean,
I mean,
but
for
for any
wholesalers, for
business.
sure, you don't need
No.
anything.
One of the thing is we have an attorney that hired us. She hired one, and she has a lot of attorneys, and she hired one of our virtual assistants, and then a month later, she hired 3 more. So
Yeah.
she hired 4, and each virtual assistant works for 5 attorneys running their entire schedules now.
Oh,
So, think about that.
yeah.
Wow. You know, she used to be paying like 100,000 a year per person. Now she's paying 20.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So that's a big savings to the firm.
But a lot of people think that way. I mean, even because Cody Sanchez does talk a lot about virtual assistants, just like Dan Martell does.
Yeah.
And Cody says the same thing. She just she was paying somebody $175,000 to do something that she no longer needed. And she'll hire, 5 virtual assistants at 100,000 and they do so much more than a person at 175,000. So
Right.
you just have to know you have to work with somebody that, a company that you trust and that's going to really help you. And that's what we do.
Mm, I like it. So you mentioned another one, lead conversion. What would that be?
So, we were working with you a lot on the lead
Yeah.
conversion, right? Um, there's so many leads in your, over time,
Yeah.
there's so many leads in your database that maybe get a newsletter a week,
Yeah.
maybe an email. I remember when we were talking to you, you were like, "No, they need to get an email every day."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm gonna do it because you're telling me to try this." But I'm like, I'm gonna have, whatever, 50,000 people in my database. We're gonna have 10% unsubscribing because they're getting
Yeah.
too much. Well, they don't.
Yeah.
You were right. It's like 1%. But we're making an offer every single day to them.
Yeah.
So we're sending them great content, making an offer, book a call. So now for example, just from doing those things, we're getting 30 book a calls going directly to our website a month.
Yeah.
That's a lot
Yeah.
going from nothing, just from making sure that we're staying in touch and giving good information to people. So for you, for example, taking your podcast, taking your all your social media and such, and making those into really good content
So
emails.
the virtual assistants would be able to take this podcast.
Mhm.
Obviously, they'll chop it up into Instagram clips and
Yeah,
TikToks and all that stuff, but then they'll also make it into emails.
that's right. That's
And
right.
that's what you would call a marketing assistant?
Well, it's a marketing assistant, yes, but it also can be it can, depending on what else they're going to do for you. Okay,
Are
because
all of them like Swiss Army knives, or do they need like, do you have specialists in certain
yeah,
things?
a video editor
Yeah.
is not an assistant.
Right.
So that's somebody different.
Right.
So a marketing assistant that needs video editing is somebody, that's a niche,
Yeah.
right? A video editor is not going to go out and be running your schedule, for example.
Right.
Just like when you hire somebody to do your video edits, that same person is not going to be your executive assistant.
Right.
It's the same type of thing. But with AI, there's a lot of overlap.
Right.
So an assistant that is using Go High, whatever CRM, let's say Go High Level, because we use a lot
Yeah.
of Go High Level now, and a marketing assistant, there's a lot of overlap now that either one can do. But the actual part of editing video still is a good video editor.
And maybe like a customer service or sales based
Yeah.
virtual assistant would be another niche
Yep. So
because
customer
they're on the
service,
phone.
yeah, customer service is good because even in lead conversion, you do need to call them. You need to send, but all of this stuff can be created by a virtual assistant. So you're creating emails and text messages. You're actually calling them.
Yeah.
You're everything that you're doing in the emails, you're trying to get them to book their own calls. You're trying to bring the business to you. So what happened to us is a lot of people that had been sitting in our database that didn't convert into clients are now converting into clients. And that's what we're helping other companies do.
Yeah, so your VAs right now are hitting your database and with emails, text, invites to webinars,
Yeah.
different things. It's not you setting it,
Newsletters.
newsletters, and then it's creating new book call
Mhm.
opportunities, which then go to Mark,
Mhm.
you know,
We have a sales team. So we have Mark and we have a couple other sales.
who are also VAs.
Yeah.
Do you have any American employees at
None.
all? Everyone's a VA.
Well, one of our VAs, she's been with us for almost 10 years, and she was in the Philippines, and now she lives in San Francisco. But
But yeah,
that was only that happened to be that.
yeah. Did she I mean, did she need a pay increase by moving to San
Of
Francisco?
course, but
Yeah.
she's my COO.
Okay. That's
And
crazy.
she does a really, really good job. Like,
Yeah.
she is on it. Like, I've worked with her more and more, obviously,
Yeah.
but you can even have,
You think I mean, yours is. You think your COO, the highest level person, could be a VA?
I never thought it, but I kept watching. She started as an inside sales agent
Yeah.
for our real estate company, and she's like, "Kristen, I'm getting bored," and she was really,
She's
really
too
good.
good.
Yeah, she was really good. She goes, "I'm getting bored," and because when she started with us, she didn't even have furniture in her home in the Philippines. So she was very loyal
Yeah.
because she had 3 kids, she was a single mom,
Wow.
and she saw us helping her.
Mm.
So she came to me instead of going to somebody else or doing other things, she came to me and she said, "I'm really bored. Can I do something else?" And this is, after we opened up the virtual assistant company. So I kept watching her and she just kept growing and growing and taking initiative. She was taking control. The outcome of what she was doing was amazing. I was like, holy cow, is she good? Because we were looking at lots of different COOs in the US
Yeah.
and we're like, they don't even know our company.
Right.
Like, we just felt that it was Mark, especially, felt that it was really important that they knew how to communicate, how to work with virtual assistants and such. And so he was pretty gun ho at trying to find somebody. And so, as working with her over the years and really coaching her and helping her and watching her and everything else, man, and she's killing it.
Yeah.
She really is. She's doing a great job.
Yeah.
Of course, her pay increase, living in the US, she could still be living in the Philippines to do what she does.
Right.
But, of course, it definitely has gone up a lot, but still,
She's still, I would guess, much cheaper still
yes,
though than
of course,
other COOs.
yes.
So yeah, that's crazy. So you guys have hundreds of VAs, and as a company, because you guys are a multi-million-dollar company across everything you're doing, and you have not one US employee other than
None.
your COO who was a Philippine immigrant, like my dad.
Mark and I are the only.
Yeah. And then, like, so what does your Tuesday look like running the company?
So for me, when I'm in Greece, I work 5 hours a week.
Okay.
Okay, now I do
Doing
it
what?
running meetings.
Okay.
So I have my COO meeting every week.
Okay.
I have, a sales and marketing meeting every week that I just got back into because I can change the outcome.
Yeah.
So I only do things that I can change the outcome
Yeah.
and the outcome of financial, right? And service or whatever is needed. Um, it is working with the team, training.
So you spend about 5 hours just in meetings and trainings,
Mhm.
essentially. And then
Vision.
vision. And then what does Mark do?
So Mark runs our marketing department.
Okay.
He also runs our brokerage. Like, I don't have a real estate license anymore,
Yeah.
and we don't work day to day with buyers and sellers.
Yeah.
But he runs our brokerage.
And that's in Florida.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And I run our investments pretty much.
Yep.
He works a lot on our investment properties though, like the day to day. He does more day to day stuff. So he does inquiry calls.
Yep.
But it's not everybody he does inquiry calls, it's a lot of certain people.
Yeah.
He also has one-on-one meetings. So, for example, if he can change the outcome of a business, He'll hop on a call for 15 minutes and
With
he'll
just one of your VA clients.
yeah,
Just
like
help
a
them
high
out.
level.
Yeah.
Somebody who has 4 or 5 different virtual assistants through us. He knows he can help them change the outcome of their business. He'll hop on a call 15, 30 minutes, and he'll give them a really good nugget of something to change their business.
Yeah, one thing I noticed about you guys, and I've had you guys present on it before at our different events, is that you guys do a really good job at KPIs.
Yeah.
And I think that most business owners who are like me, who are very like, dude, I look at a spreadsheet and I'm like, I don't want to start this. Um, your guys's are very organized. I know it's not you doing it, you know?
But you know what? I think it's because being in the restaurant business for so long, I was the general manager, like running Cheesecake Factory's #1 restaurant in the US. That's a tough restaurant.
It's the number one restaurant in the US in what way?
Revenue.
Really?
Yeah.
The cheesecake, like overall or per restaurant, or how did they
Overall, like they bring in because of all their restaurants, they sell all their cheesecakes, they sell them in other restaurants, they sell them in
what's a
stores.
typical one make?
12 million above.
Wow.
I mean, that's a low.
Yeah, that's a low
That's a
cheesecake.
low cheesecake. Like they're doing, you know, I mean, I haven't been involved with them in, a long time, but that
Yeah.
was way back in the day. Now it's a lot more. They probably average 20 to 30
And yeah, I mean,
per
it,
location, and some of them are even a lot more.
yeah, and then in the restaurant business, you got to track food cost and waste and
Food costs is huge. Also, labor,
yeah.
um, operations, all the everything that you buy, liquor, bar. I mean, there's every little detail.
Yeah, if you're off a little bit, your margin's gone.
So, because of that and doing that for so long is how I was numbers driven, but I'm really numbers driven.
Yeah.
So, everything we do, we track
And that's probably what
crazy
led you to the
numbers.
VAs anyways, because you're like, man, this just doesn't pencil out if we use this kind of labor.
It's true. Well, especially when I figured it out on how to work with them, that they actually loved what they did. It made sense. They were college educated. They've been in English. Since the 1st grade.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Wow, these guys are good."
Yeah. I seen and by the way, like you guys can do that for clients. Like create
Absolutely.
all these same like I would say this, if somebody sucks, especially at dashboards and
Yeah.
spreadsheets and all this stuff and you're like, dude, like if I went into your business and I was like, "Hey, so let me see your cost per leads and your CACs and everything else," and you don't have it, then like you need a VA.
Yeah.
Like,
I think everybody needs a VA.
yeah.
And no matter what business you're in, you need a virtual assistant. There are so many things that a virtual assistant can do for you. So I think every business out there needs a VA.
Yeah.
If it's a marketing assistant, or I recommend executive assistant, helping you in that. Even if you already have an executive assistant, as it builds and gets bigger and bigger, they need an assistant.
Yeah, they'll help your assistant. I've even thought about that for Tiffany, because right now we got so many events. I
Mhm.
planned our
Yeah.
2026 and I was like, wow, okay, so I'm going to have 8 M19 events. I'm going to have 4 Forge events,
Yeah.
which is what WealthCon's turning into. I'm going to have a virtual workshop every month. I'm going to have uh, all of our tent makers nonprofit events, and we got
Yeah.
a bunch of those planned. And I'm like, and she's in charge of being on top of every event,
Yeah,
to
that's a
make
lot.
to make sure that all the crap. I don't even know what goes into the events. I'm not super involved. Like,
Right.
but the chairs and the people and the AV and the deposits, and there's so much that goes into it.
I'm gonna tell you, a friend of mine who is one of the top realtors in the US, and she she says it well. She says, "I have in-house people that, let's say, will run the sales or the train." Actually, her inside sales department is in-house, but everything else she has, from assistants to transaction coordination to everything, right? And she has, because she has a lot of locations in the US, but all of them have multiple virtual assistants under them. So she has one person that's in-house to run all the virtual assistants underneath that one person.
Right.
So that one person is managing all the other virtual assistants.
Right.
Smart,
Yeah.
smart. Why do you need space,
Yep. Yep.
taxes, payroll?
Yep.
I mean, look at how much you're paying in payroll.
Yeah. I pay a lot
Yeah.
for
Well,
sure.
and insurance, right? If
Yeah, we give
I mean,
insurance. Yep.
So you don't have to do any of that with virtual assistants. You're just paying one service fee of whatever that is. So like for us, let's say it's 21,000 for a full-time virtual assistant, you're paying no payroll taxes, no you don't need any equipment, you don't need any space in-house or anything else.
Yeah. What about bookkeeping?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And ours actually work for CPAs.
Yeah.
So a lot of them do QuickBooks Online or whatever the CPA is looking for. They have a lot of experience in it.
Yeah.
Just like nurses, there's so many nurses, for example, here in the US from the Philippines.
Right.
Because in the Philippines, they're paying $200 a month.
Let's like actually talk about the Philippines and other spots because you hear different people. Now, obviously, I am Filipino.
Yeah.
And my dad, for those who don't know, my dad was born in the Philippines. He came here when he was 17 years old. Met my mom. I was born here in Las Vegas. But, I love everything about the Philippines. And I actually played baseball for the Philippines in the World Baseball Classic. And so I'm biased. I would much rather always just hire a Filipino for that reason alone. But I hear different people who have VA companies, other stuff, and like, oh, well, we have all these VAs in South America and they're better because they're on the same time zone and they speak Spanish. And, there's a lot of people who do speak
Mhm,
Spanish. So I understand that. Then I see people who have VAs from like Egypt and
mhm.
other things. And I honestly don't really know what the benefit of Egypt would be, but, I hear that that's a big one. Um,
India,
India has been one forever. I mean, they
mhm,
have the largest population.
Mexico.
Yep. Yeah, so South
Yep,
America. India's probably got the worst accents
yeah.
of them, especially for customer service. Um, and like there's just all these different
Mhm.
ones. And so why did you pick the Philippines? What are the pros and cons of each of these?
So for us, it's just what we fell into.
Okay.
Right? So when I hired virtual assistants, I didn't have when I hired the company, that's what they had.
Yeah.
As I worked with that company from 2000, whatever it was, let's say 11, 12 to 2017,
Yep.
I had only worked with Filipinos.
Yeah.
Um, and I'd gone to the Philippines, a couple times. And I was like, I just
This is
love
great.
the culture.
Yeah.
Right? So for us, it was natural to go right into the Filipino
Yeah.
culture. As we've gotten bigger, we do have some people that it's just not enough people that wanna hire us for Spanish speaking or French speaking.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for us to go into a different culture for that.
Yeah. And go break your whole hiring process and all that.
Well, we just wouldn't be as good,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not our niche.
Yeah.
Um, that's the reason why we didn't do it. The thing with the Philippines, the thing that we find is, number 1, when we're hiring people, they have had to have worked US hours. We don't hire anybody that's never worked US hours.
Yeah. Cause the time zone's flopped.
9 to 12 hours pretty much.
Yeah. Like when we're sleeping, that's their normal
Yeah.
time.
But they love it. The ones that have embraced it love it because they're able to, work when their kids are sleeping and, it works for them. And the thing is when they're driving in the Philippines to work, the traffic is crazy. Takes them an hour, hour and a half a lot of the time to get there each way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just and the amount of
And
money
they
they
do it from
make.
home.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's wonderful, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, typhoons.
Yeah.
So the closer that depending on where in the Philippines that you hire them from is gonna be depending on the internet and things that might come up more often.
Yeah.
But, we deal with that and we have ways that we work with our clients and work with our VAs on how to make sure that
How do you think
it
the
works.
Filipinos understand American culture?
A lot of them really good.
Yeah.
And just like the Americans now, pretty much everybody knows what a virtual assistant is.
Right.
The more and more the Filipinos are understanding the American culture.
Right.
We teach it. We teach it how important it is.
Yeah.
Um, because a lot of people will say, well, you need to really know the Filipino culture. Well, the Filipino culture really needs to know our culture.
Yeah. Because they're the ones
They're
wanting to work
working
here.
for us, right. So, we teach it a lot, and we
Yeah.
think it's important.
Yeah.
But you do need to make sure that you're hiring so we don't have a problem with the time change. They don't
Yeah.
have a problem. But if you're hiring somebody from the Philippines, I wouldn't just hire somebody that's used to working Filipino hours and then hire them in the US.
Yeah. Because they're now going graveyard.
Yeah. and I just wouldn't do that. So everybody that we personally hire, they have the experience. So for an example, an executive assistant has a lot of experience in already doing that before they come to us.
Right.
There are a lot of certain things that we look for when we're hiring.
Yeah.
So only 2% of the people make it through training,
Right.
and we want it to be that low.
Yeah.
Because we get, there's so much better virtual assistants because of it.
Yeah.
Our um our expectations, our training, our, KPIs, everything are really high of what our expectations are. So, like if somebody went into a company, for example, a virtual assistant, and they didn't have anything set up for project management or anything like that, we go in and we say, hey, can we set this up for you? So when we see that they don't have things set up or things that could make their business better, we ask them, can we do this for you?
Yeah.
Because all of our virtual assistants are trained to help them in all of these things.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Before I forget, I still have other questions about this. We'll link to it down below, but where do people hire you guys at? What's the best way?
You can go to stampstaff.com.
Okay, stampstaff.com. Like a stamp, a postage
Yeah.
stamp based on your last name, Stampini, and then staff.com. But yeah, I mean, for me anyways, like I said, I'm biased because I'm Filipino, but I do think that having grown up with Filipinos, but also hired a lot of them as virtual assistants over the years, because I mainly only hired Filipinos as well. I can tell you they are loyal,
Yeah.
like you said.
Warm.
Yep, they appreciate the job. I mean, dude, I had VAs that lasted with us for, man, almost a decade.
Yeah.
You know, um,
They're people pleasers.
yep, they're people pleasers. I will also say that, you know, Filipinos are like some of the most joyful people
Yeah.
that you'll meet. Like they just like having fun,
Yeah.
super joyful. Other cultures, that's not the culture. Other
Yeah.
cultures are very like, even in Asia, right? You take Chinese culture, or
Yeah.
Japanese culture, it's like very proper
Yeah.
and like even somewhat standoffish.
Yeah.
You know,
It's
it's
true.
not very like hospitable in that way. But Filipinos, they're not really like the other Asian cultures.
They're very family oriented,
Yeah,
but they're warm. Because 'cause you're right.
yeah.
They are their cultural the things that they are is very different than
Yeah,
other
like a
Asian.
Japanese or a Chinese culture.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it's perfect for customer
Even
service.
Indian,
Yeah, same
very
thing.
different culture.
Very different. And all that, by the way, as much as you can try and teach somebody American culture, their own natural culture is going to always
Mhm.
pull through.
That's right.
And no matter what you do.
That's right. And we look for that. So we look a lot at, the personalities and how to fit into the right. So I've studied a lot over the years, personalities, behavioral styles, and we do that for each of our virtual assistants. We make sure that we know exactly if, the DISC profile or, um, any behavioral, what's the,
Predictive index.
yes, any of those things. We know exactly what our virtual assistants are good and capable of. So we test them.
Yeah.
Most people wouldn't do that. They wouldn't
Right.
even know how to do that.
Right.
So we try to really, and we learn about the business owner. So we learn about their personality, really what their expectations are, what they're wanting, and we try to pair up them with a really, really good match virtual assistant.
What would you say when somebody comes in is like the biggest need? Like, because you were talking about they'll come in and like suggest things that they're
Mhm.
not currently doing. What do you see a lot of times that people aren't doing?
Um, well, they definitely aren't looking at lead conversions.
Yeah.
Definitely not, looking, and that's our it's so funny because it changes from year to year. That is by far 2025, that is the thing that people want the most.
Yeah.
2024, it was more in videos, omnipresence, social media. This year, it's more lead conversions, database, making and go high level is a big one for
Yeah.
most people. We can do a lot of different CRMs because we know a lot of different CRMs, but go high level is the most common one that people want, experienced people with go high level, and we're very good at go high level.
Yeah, I mean, I think about all the people I have for Go High Level, who are making me landing pages
Mhm.
and code and, all this different stuff, copy,
Yeah.
like graphics. There's so much that's needed. And um, I pay a lot of money for the people to do it, but I very well know that most people would be totally good with just a VA doing it for them.
Well, and like, a lot of people used to use Salesforce,
Right.
and that's gone by the wayside a lot. And people are getting into more and more of, running the websites and helping them with the conversion of leads. And so still social media and video editing is still a big part of what we do.
Yeah.
Marketing assistance is, there. Then customer service,
Yeah.
but it's definitely changed.
Yeah. What do you see it Where do you foresee it shifting into since you're seeing a lot of these trends and how people are using labor?
Well, I definitely think the executive assistant's gonna get bigger and bigger because they can do more and more.
Yeah, because you're just using EA as like a very Swiss Army knife type
Well,
deal.
because they can do a lot.
Yeah.
We give somebody like if they don't know, they're like, "I how can we free up your time?" Right? Imagine 20 hours a week that you can go and spend more time with your family,
Right.
spend more time in your business, go to your kids' games, not have to worry all the time. Imagine that costing you $1,000 a month
Yeah.
to free up 20 hours of your time.
Yeah.
So the big thing I always tell people is go in a week and write down all the things that you're doing in a
Yeah.
day. What are the things that are not making you money? They're repetitive tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take all those off your plate first.
Yeah.
And most of those fall in to EA role,
Right.
you know. But when people look at it and say, wow, it only cost me $1,000 to a month to get rid of 20 hours a week that I can now spend more time with my family, spend more time on my business, working into bringing in more revenue,
Yeah.
working on my business that I wasn't able to do. They're like, those people they'll come in sometimes and they'll hire a part-time virtual assistant within a month or have a full-time one. They're like, wow, 40 hours. Now it's freeing up their time to do so much more of building their business.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking about this. I just saw an Instagram post of this new company has a humanoid robot. I don't know if you saw that. I think it's called like the Neo or something. And Elon's been showing the Tesla Optimus
Yeah.
robot, and Martell was talking about that too. Of like, these next robots are the phase. Like,
Yeah.
AI is digitally doing what it's doing, but now these physical robots are coming. Because I was thinking about that, I'm like, okay, basically what you're saying is a VA can help with anything digital,
Yeah.
virtual, and the only thing it really can't do is put a lockbox
That's right.
or
File.
clean the house and whatever, right? And then like I see this robot and I'm like, this robot is being trained to do these things. And I was like, who trains the robot? And I'm like, probably you could have a VA train the robot at some point. The
Yep.
robots aren't quite there,
Absolutely.
but hey, make sure that this robot does all the things I need it to do. Make sure it takes out the trash and that it cleans the dishes every day and that it's got this done and that done and it's crazy.
If you're looking and one of the things I wanna circle back around because you mentioned bookkeeping. So many people need bookkeeping, right? They
Most
need
people don't
data
keep their books. Yeah.
they need data entry. They need tracking their business, right? Virtual assistant can do all of that. Imagine a virtual assistant can do anything that you don't need physically there.
Right.
One of the things I'm noticing more and more is when we move to the Keys and getting on, you know, the Florida Keys and, getting new our virtual assistants are the ones that got us all new doctors, all new, just from dentistry to general to all of our doctors, right? Changed. They're the ones who did it all.
Hmm.
The virtual assistants can help with everything personal. They help with everything in our personal life, right? From travel arrangements to vacations to whatever you need. You just make boards. They make boards for you of what's important. Cody Sanchez was talking about they even do her like if she's going on stage, hey, you need to find me somebody to do my hair. I want you to send pictures of what my hair wants to look like, what I want my nails to look like. Hire the people so when I go there,
It's
they're
already
going to
set.
it's already set. And you just make boards of that
Wow.
and they can do all that for you.
Yeah.
You literally have to do nothing.
And that's the thing too. It might have taken a virtual assistant a good amount of time to find all those people, but now with AI,
Yeah.
the VA is like, all right, give me the best nail person, hair person, Las Vegas, give me their numbers, make the calls. And it's like to the point of AI can do it, but
Yeah.
somebody has to tell AI what to
Yes.
do
They
and
have to prompt.
confirm
Yes.
that it did it.
Well, because AI is not always right.
Right.
So you've got to
You
make
just
sure.
booked me, this is Botox. This
And
isn't
actually, a lot of the time,
yeah,
we find errors in AI.
a
You
lot.
definitely need a physical person that's prompting AI.
Yeah, yeah.
Have to have it.
Yeah, the moment we have AI prompting AI, then, we're in, like, Terminator season.
Well, then you can go to one AI and then use that AI to go to another AI
Right.
to even get it better.
Yeah,
I mean, there's so much, it can get complicated that people don't even need to worry about. But the thing is business owners shouldn't have to worry about all these things.
yeah.
This is what you hire companies for.
So what's the next step for you guys? I mean, is the goal to grow it to 1,000 plus
Yes,
VA? Okay.
absolutely. And the reason why more so is honestly, we don't need to,
Right.
but we love helping business owners and giving back.
Yeah.
So, how much more can we give back,
Yeah.
right, to communities and, to help people? But just watching the businesses grow through virtual assistants and how much we can help them is,
That's a game
is
changer.
what, yeah, is a game changer.
Yeah. Well, Kristen, it's always good seeing you. Super proud of just what you've accomplished and how much you've grown and all the support over the years. And for anyone listening, I highly, highly recommend anytime anyone's like, "Hey, I need a VA," I'm like, go with them. I've,
Yeah.
sent them a lot of different people. And so, yeah, I mean, guys, check it out. We'll link to it down below, stampstaff.com. They'll help you out. Tell them I sent you. They'll take care of you. Um, but yeah, Kristen, looking forward to seeing what the next year is and watching the growth. So I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure.
Yep. All right, guys. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.